So our next speaker today is Mr. Fleming Christensen, Sundance Motor Processor Technology Limited. He's going to talk about how to secure supply of COTS, off-the-shelf FPGA modules. He founded Sundance in 1989, designing and building multi-processor solutions based around InMOS's transducer. I started my career in MOS as well. Showing our age. 35 years later, and so you claim, not a lot has changed. He's from Cheshire. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you for having me here today. So that's obviously me before and then, and I still claim that not a lot has changed, except probably I use a mobile phone these days rather than a red phone. So Sundance was established in '89, and it was sort of primarily for me to design electronics and build electronics. So it was a one-man band, and I designed sort of InMOS transducer boards at the time. And suddenly we got very, very lucky and had lots and lots of orders. Then we sold 50, 60,000 modules at the time, because we supplied a little COTS module which could be used in various applications. We are primarily in UK and AMD Xilinx FPGA design house. There's a sister company in the US, and they do the Polar Fire, which Ian will be pleased to hear. And we run an ISO quality system as well, which is obviously part of the supply and security, which I will touch on as well. So we build and manufacture our own boards. So the boards I have, I've taken a few with me, that they actually built here, and that's what I like doing. I like building things. And now this one doesn't work. No, your battery's running low.
Ah, okay. You may need to switch to your mouse. Okay, but you may need to click directly on there now.
Okay, have a look. Okay.
Okay. Why isn't that working? Okay. Okay. Sorry.
So we had the same problem at yours place, didn't we? The pointer didn't work. maybe it's on to-do list is charted the pointer. So we do obviously technology, but we also work with a number of external partners, and there's a long list of them there, and they're all available on the website. So one of the first modules, obviously the InMOS modules, I don't actually have too much details about them anymore, but this module is still a module which was part of a standardization, and it was our first module with a Xilinx FPGA, and that was just historical background to why we're doing it. So what I was like to do is obviously just get a feeling for whether any in here are using any systems or modules with FPGA on it. A hand will be good. There's a few, okay. And justification for that was mostly cost or availability. Yeah. So we work closely with a company in Germany called Trends. Got a poster and some very nice catalogs as well, if you'd like to carry one back. And they started, probably about 10 years ago, to make a little module, which was like a 40mm by 50mm module. And what they do is that they cramp on as much as possible, and they make a standard interface for the pin out. And I'm going to show quite a lot of products because it's very impressive. One note, obviously, these slides are available, and the link and the QR code is also available. But what is very important is actually the price of it. So if you wanted to buy a single one of these particular FPGAs, it's a rather large FPGA. A one-off price from DigiKey was about £1,700. By integrating on the module, putting power supplies and connectors on it, you can certainly buy a one-off piece for about £1,300. And that's obviously due to the volume. So trends are building, 50 to, what's the number? It's probably more than 350,000 modules have been built in 2017. So they obviously got preferential prices from AMD. So the other one was just the Kintex, that's just an FPGA. And then there's a whole list of them, which I'll go through. And some of them are so ridiculous cost effective compared to buy the chips because of the scaling and the ramp of how AMD are putting their prices on it. So just to give you a flavor of the versions of them. So there's then custom design. So this is obviously a variation of the one before. And the only difference is that there's somebody has requested for having different memories on it. And then Trends will actually go ahead and design a board and they will make it available to the market. So yet another one of the same thing, just different memory again. And I could go on, smaller FPGAs, just different kind of FPGAs. This is a particular one for an automotive. So this particular module will go into a specific car, and that company are using an automotive FPGA from AMD, and they are just buying the module. And you would normally say that it's probably more cost effective for the car manufacturer to buy the chips directly. Yeah, depends whether you're building 10,000 cars a month or you're building a few thousand cars a month. So then there's a standard flavor of FPGAs, and again, the cost of it is there as well. And I'll just skip through these, and for the benefit of PolarFire, then we do have a PolarFire version with the same pinout and the same configuration. So you could potentially design a system where you started off with a small FPGA, RTX, something like that, and then you can move up and use the same kind of form factor as you did with an AMD. And this particular one, as it turns red, is one of our own modules. So that's a PolarFire SoC. And again, it's the same form factor and compatible across the board. So another little board, which is then changed a little bit of subject, but not a sum anymore. It's actually a system on chip. So, and we had a customer who was using one of our sum modules, actually using the most common one, which is the one with a sync on it. And they asked us whether we could make a smaller version of it. So we ended up doing a very, very small board. It's all there, and I did bring the magnifier glass so you can actually see it as well, because it is very, very tiny. And that is for, well, now I know about IoT. Obviously, we have a connectivity to the IoT, but that's a different method. So that's one of the products we've done internally. So the security and supply chain is obviously what this event is all about. Is that components go obsolete, or they become not available. And obviously, we went all through the COVID issue of not being able to find anything. And what Trends have done, and have done it very, very well, and this is what I want to highlight here, is that they actually, everything they do is listed on their website. The circuits, the schematics, you name it, it's all on their website. The only thing they do not share is the Gerber files, but everything is available. What then happened in their process when things go, can't get the device? At this particular device, obviously, when obsolete, they will then have a website, and they'll make an announcement that this product is migrating from one version to the next version, but staying pin compatible. And they list what components have changed and what impact they have. And it's all transparent. It's all available, and you can then use this information to see whether it will affect you or not. And just to show that obviously every time this happens for Trends, what they have to go and do is design, some cases, a new PCB version, because some components not available, but they will do that. They will give you sort of longevity of the same part. So small changes and EMC goes obsolete, then have to make a new PCB. Which is obviously, if you had designed your own PCB, you would have had to do that yourself. Even if there's certain components that go obsolete, then you have to go and do the same stuff. But they will do it, and the module plugs in. You don't have to worry about, I'm out of stock of this one. You'll get the new one It might be a few modifications if the memory is bigger or the memory timings are bigger, but it's all there and it's all very well documented. And to show how it affects the product range. So this is bread and butter module, and when they started with the first version, they had about 8 different build variations. So they not only do they do these things have been compatible, but if you start off with a smaller FPGA and want a bigger FPGA, you can have a bigger FPGA in the same footprint. And the latest version of this particular module, the 05, well, we suddenly have about 40 different variations. Which is something, if you had to do it on your own, would be very, very difficult to handle in a build situation. But you could actually have a build of some electronics where you fitted a small FPGA, one application, and a big FPGA for another application. And it's all there. And I guarantee a supply of these, assuming everything goes well in the world, then there's a supply guarantee for 2045, which is pretty far out in the future. So go back to sort of what Sundance are doing as well. So we use these modules. So we are a customer of these kind of modules because it's very convenient for us. And when we build a system, and some of these systems are low volume systems, we can then specify a specific module for a specific customer, and we then make a custom solution by just being able to buy a single module and integrate it. And this particular module is again also available from Sundance. So my next question is anybody, obviously there's a few using a system or module. Is that a standardized system? Are you selling a standardized system? Is COTS environment important for you? Anybody has cost environment as an issue? Okay. So I'm very much in favor of anything that could be standardized. And some of our products have been developed with that in mind and have gone into something what is CERN called the Open Hardware Repository, which is a free for all. You actually upload everything into this website, and then you can also download everything from this website. So everything that CERN have ever done, not everything, but mostly what they've done, will go into this Open Hardware Repository. So if you ever have to go and look at something which has been done already, then CERN will most likely have shared everything, including Gerber files. Okay, so they actually share everything. I like it very much, and I can only recommend to look at it. I mean, for just copying products, but also getting some ideas. So what I did years ago when I had too much time, I think I also got involved in some standardization, and it's very hard to standardize things. I mean, Ian is now doing the IoT, and you've got so many block diagrams of this one, but there is a number of open standard sources available now. Most of them do not have FPGAs. So this particular one is more for IoT boards, and they all define, and it's all very well. But there's a new standard, and I did mention it last time as well. And since last time I mentioned it in July, nothing has happened, which is no surprise because I know how long time it takes to make these things sort of standardization. But there is an attempt by an organization it's called SGET, SGET, to make a standardization of a module standard to be able to go across a number of FPGA families. And I wish them well, and I hope that they'll be successful. And that was really what I want to come to, is that if we can make an FPGA module standardized, then we have a better chance of being able to move across, not only supply from different vendors, but actually being able to last a lot longer. So the summary of what I'm talking about is that the reason for using a sub-module is to do with redundancy. So people like Trent have a whole system, and there are loads of other sub-module manufacturers. And obviously, my preference is Trent. Is that they offer you redundancy. I mean, you don't have to worry about that part of the circuitry, and they cover your obsolescence, and they're cheaper. They're always cheaper than buying a chip. What you also have to do when you do anything with a sum module is make sure you actually get the circuit diagrams, because without the circuit diagrams, you're really going to struggle making hardware design. What you then can do as doing applications, you can then focus on making the firmware, which is rather time consuming and very difficult. And you carry a board and you can support it as well. So the last thing on this sort of summary is the stock issue. So because Trent is stocking most of these products, if at all possible, then you can actually buy them as you need and you want to go ahead. So my last question is there any questions?
Finished early.
I told you I would finish quickly. So
I was just checking Peter's available. Peter's joined, so that's good. He's going to get extra time.
yeah.
On an early lunch.
Well, you can put in a question for Ian and we.
Yeah. Is there any question?
Given that we've been talking about,
Sorry.
one second. Given that we've been talking about all morning, I'm wondering if there's anything that have been done to ensure that you get the board that you expect and there's no loss to it or no unexpected surprises in there.
Yeah. So the module number you'll get is obviously matching the module number, which is part of the PCN. So if you went from one generation to the next generation, there will be a certificate of conformance, and that module is the same as you had last time with that particular part number. And if it is not, then obviously it won't work in your application. But there is we issue conformity statements for that version of the board. So if you specify in your purchase order you want this particular version, I mean, if you look at the part number, they are incredibly long, and they actually all have a QR code as well, so you can simply just scan them and verify they are the right thing as well. But you can do that. Then the box comes with a QR code. The module has got a QR code on it. So when you take it out, you can scan it if you have an internal QR system, and then you can verify that that module is version 3 of that particular build. So the answer to that is yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for speaking, Peter. Early, thank you.
Good, thank you.